Today, I want to talk about the coronavirus family. And like any typical family, there's members of it that don't do a lot of harm. In fact, in humans, they cause mild cold and respiratory symptoms. But then there's the other branch of the family that's filled with what we would call bad hombres or bad dudes. And in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing about the coronavirus and about COVID-19, I want to give you a brief history lesson on the history of the coronavirus. So, the coronavirus species or family is a family of viruses that are all respiratory. In other words, they all strive to get into our lungs, and that's where they primarily cause disease. And we've got a 20-year history of dealing with them. So I want to give you a quick history lesson that takes us back to 2002. And that's when we dealt with something called SARS. Now, SARS stands for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. Not surprising, since these are respiratory viruses. They want to get to the lungs. And we dealt with this. What was this caused by back in 2002? It was caused by a virus that we named SARS, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. Corona is the CO, V's for virus, so coronavirus 1. Pretty good of them to use that 1 after the name, because there's going to be a second one, as we'll see. Okay, now let's fast forward to 2012, so 10 years later. 10 years later, humanity has to deal with something called MERS. MERS stands for Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome. And just like 2002 SARS, this one is also caused by a coronavirus. Now, interestingly, the kill rate, the mortality rate associated with SARS, 10%. Pretty bad hombre. But SARS looks damn pedestrian compared to MERS, in which the mortality rate was 30%. Now, let's fast forward to 2019. And the truth of the matter is, it's really 2020, because it was on New Year's Eve, so that'd be December 31st, 2019, that the Chinese authority first let the World Health Organization know that there was a new or novel coronavirus capable of having pandemic level consequences. So 2019, we get visited with a disease called COVID-19, a coronavirus disease 19. And what's it caused by? Well, let's go back to our original nomenclature from 2002. Is caused by Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. So this is the history of humanity's dealing with this virus. And compared to the other two, 10% mortality and 30% mortality, COVID-19's mortality looks like it's going to be somewhere between 1 and 3%. Now that begs the question, if it's so less lethal compared to these other two, why is it that so many people are dying as a result of COVID-19? And we'll talk about that in one of our upcoming videos. But this today, ladies and gentlemen, is your history lesson about the bad hombres that are a part of the coronavirus family.